Good morning, Thrivers. This is CEO and founder of Alive-N-Thrving, Nate Haney, and making my first video blog or vlog, whatever they call them. So I originally intended for this first episode to be coming to you from the top of a 14er. So that'll be the second episode or third, whatever, man. Monday we'll be climbing my first 14er out here in beautiful state of Colorado, which is where Alive-N-Thrving is based out of. That's where we're building our family. So, guys, I just had to come to you this morning because, like I said, I wanted to wait till Monday on top of a mountain to put my message initially out there, but it can't wait any longer because I'm in the gym this morning and I'm watching the TV. I got my headphones in, but they got the captions up there, and it's all just spin doctor propaganda. What it says is that the guy that we somehow mistakenly elected to office 2 times in a row, and I'm guilty because I voted for him the first time. Second time, no way in hell. But I hear today that he's asking Congress for another $50 million to help the conservative or the moderate Syrian rebels. And my blood just gets a little boiled every time I'm in the gym because the news is on at least 3 or 4 or 10 of the TVs, and all you ever see is just this BS coming across the radio waves. And here's my question to our shit government. From where? From where, Mr. President Barack Hussein Obama, do you want Congress to pull $50 million from? Oh, that's right, the Federal Reserve. The illegal institution that's run by a cartel that prints our fiat currency that the entire world has to bow down and bend over to, which has lost 82% of its value since being instituted, which enslaves an entire generation to debt based on a credit system and compounding interest that can never be repaid. Now, I realize everything that I just said might sound like complete Greek to a lot of you because half of you are extremely ignorant, and that's not your fault. Some of it is, and some of it's not, but you've had your mind held by the government hostage, your entire life, because you were raised on MTV and VH1 and BET and CNN and ABC and CBS and NBC, and all you ever cared about was what felt good, what looked good, what you thought mattered to you. You turn on your radio and you listen to shit music that tells you to worship sin and worship corruption and worship money and clothes and status and position in life. And yet you never take the chance or the opportunity or exercise your God-given right to truly take a look at the state of affairs in the country that you live in the state that you live in the community that you reside in, to ask the larger question, which is, what can I do to make this world a better place? What can I do to make myself a better person first? And that's truly where it all starts. It starts with your foundation, your security, your base. This rant could go in many different directions, but I'm not as angry as I was when I initially intended to make this video. So here it is, guys. I call you guys to action. Stop living a life shackled to sin and self-destruction. Stop being ignorant. Open your eyes. You have a God-given right. You live in a democracy, in a republic. It was intended to be, so it's not that way anymore. But you still live in a country that still has to abide by a certain set of rules, because they can't just march down the streets with their militarized police yet and kick down your doors and force you to do whatever they want to. But I guarantee you that if you don't open your eyes, take a stand for your country, for your states, for your community, for your brothers and your sisters, that's exactly the future you're going to leave for your children to inherit. On top of that, they're going to have to pay down trillions and trillions of dollars of debt. I take that back. You cannot pay down a debt system that revolves around compounding interest, because for every $1 you borrow, you have to pay back 12. And our United States government gets all their money from directly the Federal Reserve, which is illegal, which is why John F. Kennedy, the last decent American president, was assassinated. The last only and real American president. Before him, Lincoln And then you can go back to the founding fathers, but there's even some that believe that they killed George Washington. Okay, guys, the people that you're up against are sinister, they're evil, and if you don't believe in spirituality or universe or forces of good and evil, then you're just as, you're lost, man. You're so freaking lost if you don't believe in something that's bigger than you. Because you're insignificant. You do not matter until you choose to make a better world for yourself and a better person for the world to associate with. If all you do is look good and fear no war, you're useless, man. You're just a worthless eater, and those aren't my words. Those are the Council on Foreign Relations, the Federal Reserve, the Round Table, Skull and Bones, Order of the Rose. Any organization that truly has been around for a very long time, any organization that truly understands how the world actually does work, their sole purpose is to keep you snowed, keep you enslaved to their little system, okay? And that system is debt. At the very core, that's what you're enslaved to. Everybody, every single one of you. You all have a credit card, you all use US currency, and therefore you're enslaved to debt. Because our federal government gets it directly from the Federal Reserve. And in the United States Constitution, it says that no institution other than the United States Treasury shall be allowed to print or mint US coins or money. And that all money shall be backed by tangible assets, gold and silver. President Kennedy came into office and he instituted Executive Order 11110, and that returned the power of the U.S. currency system to the United States Treasury. It stated that the United States Treasury should be the only institution to print or mint U.S. coins, and that they should be called the U.S. silver note, no longer the U.S. dollar. It would be backed by silver. There would be no interest rate, and there would be no compounding interest. Therefore, our national debt level would become a fixed number, able to be paid down over time. But for every dollar we borrow, I told you, we have to return 12. Sometimes more, man. Sometimes more. You can look all these statistics up for yourself. I wouldn't bring you this information. I don't make shit up, okay? My eyes are wide open. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Nate Haney. I'm a combat vet. Served in the Marine Corps for 6 years. During that time, I was stationed in Washington, D.C., California, 29 Palms, Okinawa, went down to Australia for a while, visited East Timor, was on the USS Denver. Guys, before that, I had a life of freedom. Then I joined the Marine Corps and saw exactly what the world truly is, okay? I saw some beautiful people, and I saw some very ugly people, okay? No matter where you go in life, you're gonna run into those, you're gonna run into all walks of life. It's up to you to decide, who do you want to be? How do you want to chase your dreams? Do you even have dreams? Do you even think? Do you get up in the morning and ask yourself, what does today hold for me, for my family, for my friends, for my community? Or do you just go through the goddamn motions? You get up, you drink your coffee, you go to your little worker bee station, you grind out a little paycheck, and then you come home and you drink your booze or you smoke your pot, and then you go to bed. You get up and do it all over again the next day expecting a different result? Well, Einstein's definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. You're insane if you think that you can truly make a difference by doing the same thing over and over again. But I know why you do it, and I understand, man, because you're afraid. You live in fear. Or you just have no desire. You're just willfully ignorant. You probably even know that you are. And therefore, you just continue on about the same path in life, expecting somebody else to handle your problems for you. Well, guess what? Each and every generation that came before us pretty much did the exact same damn thing. And now we're on the brink of war all over the world. Where do you think ISIS, the Iraq Syrian Islamic State, which has been murdering people, like literally, like a reason we should invade a country, by driving down the roads and shooting them, using gas, all that shit. Where do you think they got all their money, guys? Where do you think they got all their funding, all their weapons? From the United States taxpayer. From the Obama administration, who came into office riding on this fucking pony of change, yeah? When the fuck did that happen, man? The only thing that stayed the same was the Bush, Clinton, Reagan, Bush policies. Nothing has changed since Kennedy, because why? The Federal Reserve sent a message when they killed him. It said, cross us and die. I know I'm on watch lists because I'm an activist. Anybody who's out there, any of you guys out there who post articles online, or, you know, put material out there, questioning the establishment and calling people to arms, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. You guys get watched, bro. You guys get censored. I mean, you think we got it bad? You should get a pen pal in China. Okay, and just ask them how their quality of life is. Pathetic. Okay, pathetic the country we live in. Pathetic the people that live in our country. I'm not speaking about everybody, because there's people like me. There's people like my good buddy Drake. There's people like my brother. Okay, and so many other people across this entire planet who are making much larger strides than I, making the same strides, making smaller ones, or just at least taking the first initial steps, bro. Reading a book, finding me, finding one of my brothers, finding one of my sisters. I don't have any real sisters. I have one real brother. So sometimes all it literally takes, guys, is for somebody to come along and just say that they care. I care. I care more about you than you probably do. I care more about this country than I should, because it disgusts me every single day. Yeah, we have a great quality of life, but the people that occupy it they're just terrible, man. There's an equal amount of good here as there is bad. I want to change that balance. I don't want it to be equal. I want there to be more good than there is bad, and you should want the same thing. Because as long as you sit on the sidelines, and as long as you let corrupt politicians who have no agenda other than the Federal Reserves, because the Federal Reserve owns all the money, and he who owns the gold makes the rules. Okay, 3,000 miles to Graceland. He who holds the gold makes the rules, and that's the golden rule. So as long as you continue to live in a world that's enslaved to a fiat currency that's backed by nothing, okay, the Nixon administration came along and made it illegal, or basically made it illegal, but they just uncorked the Bretton Woods Act, which said our United States currency shall no longer be backed by anything. It shall just be a free-floating currency based on a credit system. And who does that directly benefit? Oh, the cartel, the Federal Reserve. Who owns the Federal Reserve? The Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, DuPont, individuals who got together in 1913 in a JP Morgan estate off the coast of Georgia and founded the illegal institution called the Federal Reserve. Our founding fathers literally killed bankers, man. Shot them in the damn head because they wanted to set up an institutionalized state nation bank, okay? A state bank for the United States. And our founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson specifically, said this: every generation shall pay its debt as it goes. For if not, a central bank will arise around them, and arising around that system, first through inflation and then through debt, the American citizens will be enslaved to a corrupt financial institution. Fast forward to 2014, and our founding fathers are literally slitting their wrists, man. Rolling over in their graves. Sick to their stomachs. I mean, you wonder why all these natural disasters happen upon magnitudes that the earth has never seen before. Why Boulder gets hit by a 1,000-year flood, you know what I'm saying? Someone's pissed off upstairs, guys. You know, they say that the Pope should come back during the, the Pope. They say that Christ will make his second coming during the reign of the Pope that we currently have. Well, I was talking to somebody the other day, very smart individual, and he said something that was very, very enlightening. He said, I don't think Christ is coming back in a physical form, brother. He goes, I think he's coming back as a collective consciousness. How beautiful a notion, okay? How amazing an idea. Because I guarantee you that there's people out there right now who are thinking the exact same thing and saying the exact same words that I am to their family and friends, and their family and friends are ostracizing them just for saying it. Calling them a troublemaker, or just asking them not to talk anymore because they don't want to hear it. Because they're afraid, because they are more comfortable being sheeple. Sheep people, okay? Zombies, more or less. Zombie apocalypse, we might as well be living it, because look at the riot gear that the police wear nowadays. Look at the society we live in, where cops think that they own citizens, and that they have the ultimate say in what is truly wrong, or what is truly right and what is truly wrong, and they don't understand the damn law themselves. So when they're confronted with a law student, they're completely blasted. They're just like blasted away, and their ignorance shows, just completely shows and seeps right through their pores. And so what do? They resort to violence. They resort to coercion, force. Okay, the first reaction of any bully when questioned, when he feels threatened, is force and violence. There's no reason, man. United States citizens are not walking around the streets with assault rifles and clubs and slingshots, beating and killing people like they are in Iraq right now. Yet our police are more heavily armed than our fucking military. The gear that I wore in Afghanistan is the exact same type of gear that they're wearing on the streets of Chicago, Boulder, Denver, New York City. God forbid you live in that city. God forbid, man. You live anywhere on the East Coast. Guys, I love each and every one of you, no matter what. No matter which path you choose to take in life, no matter how you choose to think, no matter which way you choose to act. I'm a devout follower of Christ. I don't believe in organized religion, the institution of it at all, because the Catholic Church during the dark times held the Bible from the European citizens for 100 years because they were not going to allow it to be printed in English. The first one being the Tinsdale Bible basically was a direct result of an extreme amount of Christians losing their faith. Because what do you think happens when somebody like Christ comes down here to spread a message, and then 2014 years of telephone happen? That message gets skewed. We retain some things, but we lose a lot of it. And we especially lose a lot of it if there's an institution that recognizes the power in belief and fear, and then manipulates it and tweaks it to get their message across, to institute their form of governance. Okay, at one point the Catholic Church was the ruling institution over the entire known world, except for Asia Minor and Russia. Russia fell later, man. It's just a game of domination, man. It's a game of command and conquer. All these people care about is population control, money and greed. This planet is big enough and large enough and has enough natural resources to sustain every single human life on this planet from here into infinity, if we were to work together and develop ways of producing agriculture and alternative means of fuel. Okay, I'll put up another post where I talk about hemp, the Genesis plant as it's referred to in the Bible, or cannabosum in the Hebrew text. And I'll just, a lot of you out there are going to side with me and already know all about hemp and cannabosum, and you're just going to resonate, okay? But then there's a lot of you out there that have been snowed since 1937 because your parents told you that it was bad because their parents told them that it was bad and their parents told them it was bad. But guess what? They never did any research or personal investigation or studies to really establish whether or not it was truly what the government told them was. It was bad, negative. Industrial hemp is carbon negative. There's not a single negative environmental effect that it could have on the planet. It extracts any and all toxins from the soil that it's planted in. It's extremely low maintenance. You don't have to spray it with pesticides, herbicides, or fertilizer. And it replenishes the soil with nitrogen. Okay? Plant food. A plant makes plant food. Imagine that. You can turn it into rope, paper, plastic, clothes that don't freeze. Soldiers in World War II demanded hemp clothing. Guess what? Some of them got it, some of them didn't. But the United States made a huge push. Hemp for victory during World War II. Pretty much rant over, but one last thing, guys, is that Alive-N-Thrving is taking off, and we're a community, we're a family of open-minded individuals and aware activists. Okay, we encourage each and every one of you, me and my team, encourage each and every one of you to come to the website, check us out, leave us a message, tell us your thoughts. We're always looking for inspiration, guys, because we're not in this alone. And that is the sole message, okay? Believe in something larger than yourself. Then act on it. Don't just sit on your ass. Don't just expect other people to do things for you. Act on your belief system. You're gonna get rejected, guys. I get rejected every single day. Every single day. And you know what? It sucks. But for every million no's I go through, I get that one yes, I get those two yeses. I find those people, man. Find my people. Do I think down or look down on anybody that says no? Absolutely not, because you're gonna come around eventually. You're just a follower. You're waiting for you're waiting for the crowd to move before you do, because it's safe. Because you're comfortable in your little safety zone. Because you don't want to take that step to get out of that bubble. Don't worry, eventually you're gonna have to, one way or the other. And it's either gonna come in the form of boots kicking in your door, or you doing it for yourself. Let's hope you do it for yourself, because if they kick in your door, you're going into biodegradable coffin in a FEMA concentration camp, and that's it for you, brother. Never made an impact on the planet, never really existed, because they'll just delete you from the records, essentially. That's how that works, brother. When you have all the gold, you control everything. When you control the media through synergy, you can control what people think. And that's the world, and that's the society that we live in. Guys, check back in. There'll be another video up. This is just the initial one, so it's a little bit long. It's a two-parter. And Monday morning, we'll be on top of a 14er, guys. Alive-N-Thrving, all right? We get out, we do things, we're active. I mean, clearly, you can tell I'm standing outside, middle and, wherever I am right now. And been on a bike ride, hit the gym this morning. Okay, it's been a great morning so far. And we're just gonna keep this energy flowing all day long. Tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. Check us out. Be a part of the family. Be a part of the human race. Be a part of America. Be a part of the world.